jungle boogie. So he was dancing, and I think he forgot where he was at because he put his hands up on his arms. He was like, jungle. And he turned hey.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, Steak and Sauce family. We got a special guest today.
You already know.
Yeah. We got another special guest, Ja.
How y'all doing? How
you doing today, brother?
Man, I'm hanging in there, man.
Good. We're good to have you, man.
I'm glad to be here, man. It's an honor, man.
Yeah, we've been working on this for a while.
A long time.
Yep.
Long time.
Tonio, how you been?
I'm doing good, man.
Doing
Thanks
good.
for having me doing this.
Yes, sir. I would say we back, but we never left. That's all I'm going to say. This is episode 11. I am one half of the dynamic duo of Steak and Sauce. My name is Derek, and my co-host,
Tonio Clavin.
You already know. So, hey, we got to,
Doing something special today.
Yeah.
We flipping sides and everything.
I'm on this side now. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be as transparent as I can today. A lot of people wanted me to share my story, share how, kind of how we got here, how we wanted to develop this show and some of our plans. And we're just going to take it all the way back to the beginning. And what two better people to do that with than you two guys. So I appreciate y'all being here. So this is awesome.
Thanks for letting us do this.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. So we'll fix this. Sorry about that, Weston. So real quick before we get into it, I wanted to share two things with y'all. So I had last minute went to the Virginia Tech, West Virginia game. It was kind of mild while we were in there, but I had a feeling something was going to kick off when we left.
You know it.
You already know it. West Virginia won. They're barking, howling, burning their tires up, So we get to this intersection. I see this big 6'6" guy with a big cowboy hat on, West Virginia fan, right? He had like a Carhartt jacket, West Virginia blue cowboy hat. It's like 8 Virginia Tech students, all male.
They surrounded him.
Look like wolves on a moose. All in orange, you know what I'm saying? They're yelling at him, So we walk up and I'm like, oh, man, I didn't want to stare too long,
Yeah.
Next thing I hear, the big, tall West Virginia fan says, I didn't touch your whore, boy. Right when he said boy, the dude to his right gave him a Luke Kane kick to the ribs, right? Bent him over.
Mm-hmm.
They start working on him, right? His wife runs over with half a hot dog in her mouth, you know what I'm saying, screaming.
Yeah, not the glizzy.
Yeah, the glizzy. They box her out like basketball on a rebound, right? So she can't get there. One dude decided, hey, you know what I'm going to do? We're going to turn him over. He grabbed his cowboy boot and twisted his ankle so bad he had no choice but to roll over. Gator rolled him. They start putting hands and feet on this dude.
Oh, my God.
I should have helped. I should have broke it up, but I was laughing too hard. You know what I'm saying?
There and watched the man get
I did. I watched the man get stomped out. Yeah, in front of his wife. Now, there's nothing worse because on that car ride home, it's going to be silent.
Oh, yeah.
Silent.
Your protector just got beat down in front of you.
Goodness. In front of you. So now anytime that he had something to say, in the back of her mind, oh, yeah, like you did them boys at the game.
Can't do nothing wrong.
You get, yeah.
Them
You know what I'm saying?
students.
Like, college students. Yeah. You're a grown man. And them college students worked you over. And I figured, that's why you cannot base a book by the cover. I thought maybe he might work these guys, and maybe in another situation he might have. They beat the brakes off his boy.
Did he fight back?
No. He just sit there and screamed. His wife was screaming. Every time they put a foot in his spine, he went, ugh. Yeah, you can hear it, And I'm sitting there laughing. My buddy's laughing. It's terrible. I'm going to admit that. I didn't do the right thing. Better than that, there was a cop standing in the tree line. I didn't even notice that at first. The cop was standing there with his hands on his hips watching. Didn't bring it up.
He didn't want to get involved. Yeah, no paperwork.
Yeah, no, them boys is going to work him over too.
I'm off duty today.
Yeah. Them boys is going to work him over.
I don't want no parts of it.
No parts of this, right? Yeah. You want some of this too, old man? No.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's what it was.
That's funny. That's funny.
So
Tech boys are wild.
Tech boys wild. I told him, listen, hey, young man, I know you think I go to school here, but I'll jack you up. And if it's more than 10 of y'all, I'm air it out. Telling you right now.
You got to.
You got to. You think I'm going to get stomped by 10 guys?
She said, I'm airing it out.
I airing it out. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna get me on the daggone phone. No, sir. Nope.
No, you don't want to be on the camera.
Yeah. So you got these.
No world star today.
No. So after that, we go to Sheets. There was a man standing at the screen ordering his food. I faintly hear a song come over on the intercom. Jungle Boogie, Jungle Boogie, da-da-da. So I'm like, okay, you know. I look over, this man lost his damn mind. He's dancing, puts his hands up under his arms like, you know, like a gorilla. Jungle Boogie. And I'm like, whoa, bruh. Whoa, right?
Too far.
Too far. He don't know the atmosphere. You don't know how many people's in here. So he kept doing it and was laughing. Then he looks up and sees me and my homeboy.
That's bad timing.
Bad timing, because I'm just looking at you. And he was like, brother. He said, brother, I'm just dancing.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, look, man, just be mindful of that. You know what I'm saying? Because really, I feel like you was trying to say something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Jungle Boogie. And the only thing you think of is to act like a gorilla.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I don't know. But
Out of all them.
out of all the animals, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, Weston, can we roll one of the videos that I sent you? I'm gonna let you pick just to start it off right quick before we get into the serious stuff.
All right.
I just want y'all's reaction right quick.
Gotta see it.
Why is she in the ring?
Hey, first of all, there's so many things wrong with this, okay?
Yeah.
Nah.
So many things wrong.
Wig almost came off.
Number
the
one,
wig almost came
her
off.
wig. Number one, that man is 350 pounds, okay? The guy that stands up and grabs his face, he did that because he thought she was dead. Watch him stand up. Look. Oh,
Oh
God.
my God.
Her wig almost came off.
She's not moving. I don't think he meant to snap her back like that on his knees. But I'm telling you
I
right
gotta
now.
say something.
Yeah.
He looks black right there. Then it looked like he just turned to a white man. I don't understand how
Hold
it
on,
happened.
hold on.
Watch. Look.
Oh, was that another dude?
Yeah, it's another dude. He rolls out
Okay.
the ring. Watch. Boom. And then he rolls out the ring. He knew what he did.
He goes, oh, God.
You don't even see the other guy. He's like, nah.
He was going to help her. She needs some milk. I'm telling you. Look, you see the way she just laid flat?
She's dead.
I hope she's okay. But
I hope so.
This is a move gone wrong, bro.
Yeah, why did they set it up like that?
Yeah,
Did you
clearly.
practice this? Like, did you practice your back being broke? Like, I think I could withstand it. Like,
Yeah. How many times did they do this before they ran this live? That's what I want to know. Bitch. That's what he said.
It didn't go well.
You know?
It didn't go well.
bitch,
God,
that's
dog.
funny.
Bam. Yeah, she's not okay. Look at that. Lord, please. I hope she's okay. Yeah, for sure. But what would you fellas like to know?
Yeah. I know a lot about you, and I want the world to know everything I know. I don't know how much I know about you, but yeah, I want to get in your childhood. How
Okay.
was it growing up in Christiansburg, Virginia?
Well, I'm an 80s baby, right?
80s.
80s. Yes,
Born
sir.
in the 80s.
New Year's baby, too.
New Year's. Born on New Year's.
Yeah, let's start that at
All right.
1985.
Yeah, 1986.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Was the night before.
Night before, yep. So I was born in Marion, Virginia. My parents had just met briefly here in Blacksburg. My mom is originally from Rural Retreat, Virginia. She moved down, got an apartment. And the crazy thing was, her apartment was right above my dad's apartment. So they really didn't even know each other at the time. They both got hired at Green Lines at the Arsenal way back in the 80s. So that's back when the Arsenal had the lunchroom, all that kind of stuff, right? So my mom and my aunt were best friends, my dad's sister. So my dad came in, they always tell me the stories. They said my dad came into the lunchroom pimping one day in his coveralls. And my aunt,
Tracy.
yeah. Shout out to Pops. My aunt said, "Hey, Tracy, when you gonna talk to Angie? You know, say hi, you know, something like that, trying to, introduce him."
Yeah.
My dad said, I'm on it. You know what I'm saying? My mom said the one thing that made her laugh, my dad's personality. She said, "Tracy, what you in here doing?" He said, "I'm just come get some of this groundhog," talking about the biscuits and gravy because he called it groundhog. That's what he told everybody. So they met. My mom had me when she was 19. And for that first year, because they were working, I lived with my grandmother pretty much in Rural Retreat because my parents were working that 4 to 12 shift and they were driving back and forth, right? So on both sides of the family, I was the first grandchild for almost 8 years, right? So I got to go everywhere. I'm with this side of the family, that side of the family.
Yeah, you the
trips.
baby.
Yeah.
I'm the baby, right? They told me back in the day, I didn't even have me in a car seat. I would just get passed around the car on a road trip, just people holding you. You know what I'm saying? Just like, it was just crazy. So after that, we moved to Christiansburg, and that's where I met Tonio shortly after that, right? Kindergarten.
Wow, y'all been friends a minute then. Huh?
For a long time.
Tough, bro.
Tough, yep. And that's kind of how our circle of friends kind of grew, because some of our friends we didn't meet up with until middle school because we separated
We separated in second grade.
second grade, yep.
Fallen Branch.
Yeah, we went to Fallen Branch Elementary, and some of our friends went to Christiansburg Primary.
Yeah.
So unless you were doing like sporting events, you really didn't see those guys like during the day. My childhood, man, I'm going to be honest with you. I had a great childhood. We grew up in a neighborhood. The kids still played outside. We roughhouse. We had,
Nostalgic, right?
yeah, man. I mean, I can remember everything. Like we would, every sport. Like we had a yard for each sport. So my yard, we played kickball. Brian's yard was baseball. We had a basketball goal. On the weekends, you already knew what time it was. Everybody's in all black. The baddest spotlight games you ever played. That's how I knew I was going to the military. I was putting paint up under my eyes.
Oh, he was already prepared.
I was prepared, bro. I had a backpack. I had a little compass. You know what I'm saying? I was always playing with guns and knives, like toy guns and stuff. I just always had a fascination for them. My sister was born 7 years later. Shout out to Morgan. And we're very close, always been close. And we had, honestly, the, like, kind of that American dream, middle class, blue collar family. At the time, my dad was driving tractor trailers, like cross state. My mom had left the Arsenal, went to Volvo, where she's still at now. The way my family set up that dynamic, my dad's old school. So in his mind, the way he ran it was, hey, I pay all the big bills. You take care of the small stuff, the kids' clothes, the groceries, few of the insurances, and you put most of your money up. And the reason he had my mom do that is because they always have money put back. You know what I'm saying? And if you can find somebody and make it work like that, even in today's time, I really feel like with a family, it takes two incomes.
Yeah.
And if you can kind of figure out a way to manage it like that, and it doesn't matter who makes more money, because at the end of the day, if we come up with a system, it's all going to the same pot.
Absolutely.
As a man, I feel like it is my responsibility to take care of the mortgage, to take care of the big bills, your car payment, stuff like that. And you take care of the small stuff. And if you're putting 60% of your check back, we're straight all the time. You need tires, you need this, we need a down payment. The reason they did that is because they wanted to put a down payment on a house. And they knew that was the quickest way to be able to come up with that money back then. So fast forward, we were living on Flag Court up behind where Stone's Cafeteria used to be in Christiansburg. Best neighborhood in the world, man. Kids still played outside. We rode our bikes up to Hills, it's now Food Line.
Oh, so it's that area.
Yeah, that
and
area.
Christiansburg's still like that.
Is it really?
It's like, well, where I live, coming from Radford, like even being over there, where I stay at, it's all kids out there playing and everything like that, riding bikes, cutting up out in the yard. It's still the same, bro.
And that's a great thing about living here.
Yeah.
Still the same, bro.
We had that.
Yeah. We were afforded that, right?
Yeah.
A lot of areas are not designed the way this area is, Like, we have just enough, but it's peaceful. The kids can go down the street, you know the neighbors. Hey, my kids are coming down to play, and you can see them. And I just love this area. I do feel like it is constantly changing, but the foundation, the core values, I'm forever grateful, because if I would have been raised in a different area or a big metro city or something like that, I don't know what type of childhood I would have had. I don't know what I would have been exposed to, what path I would have followed, because everybody's parents governed everybody's kids. You know, you get in trouble over at Tonio's house, it's like getting in trouble at your house.
Yeah, been there.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
I really respect that and I appreciate that. My parents, they did an amazing job to make sure that we had everything we needed. You know, like I said, we took that family vacation every year. Tonio went with us to the beach every year. My mom made sure that we had that. She worked so hard, man, to make sure that like the type of lifestyle she wanted to give us. I think when I was younger, I did a lot of things to avoid conflict. And I thought about this the other day before we did this show. I said, Derek, what type of person are you? So I went back and really dug into it. I think that I tried to avoid conflict as an adolescent because I wasn't confident enough in myself to protect myself. So I felt like, hey, if I'm the funny guy, if I'm the man, people don't mess with that guy. That guy can move to different circles. I was cool with the country boys. I was cool. I played sports, so I'm cool there. I'm cool with the girls. I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? So it was comfortable. And I really feel like I did that because that was a safe space for me. Until I got to 10th grade or something like that. And then we got exposed to a few different things. And then I realized, okay, Derek, you got to take up for yourself. You know, you can't just let people treat you how they want to, say things to you. I'm not saying you should spaz on everybody, but it is a respect thing there. So I really feel like looking back, a lot of things I did was to protect me. And as a man now, when people talk about protecting that inner child, I understand what that means now, because the man I am now is the man I needed then. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, I'm not saying that my dad or I didn't have those influences. They were great.
Yeah.
Like in my eyes, my dad can still walk through a wall.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he would try. But the man that I needed for Derek back then, I make sure he gets that now. You know what I'm saying? I make sure like, so I'm not saying like in a sense of, oh, I'm walking tall and, you know, I got this big club and all that other stuff. No, like the anxiety that you get in certain situations that probably would have made me fold back then, I make sure I take those head on. Because at the end of the day, I'm all I got.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Fact.
Yeah. So when I tried to analyze that before this show, I really wanted to kind of dive into that, you know? So, excuse me, I'm just getting over a cold. My parents separated when I was 11. And that was difficult because I didn't really understand. I'm like,
From seeing him every day to now being part-time.
being part-time.
What's that like?
You know, to be honest.
'Cause I didn't get it. I never
Right.
had, like, all my friends kind of looked at me like I was lucky in a sense. Like,
Yeah.
your parents stayed
Stay
together.
together.
Yeah, they stayed together. You know, all the way up until my father's passing. You know what I'm saying? They stayed together. So
Sorry to hear that, too.
No, I appreciate that. So
Yeah.
everybody kind of looked at it like, oh, you're lucky. You know, your dad's there 24/7. I'm like, I don't know what to say to that.
Right.
I don't know what response to that.
I think
What
it
is that
helps out
kid
a lot because I didn't grow up with my dad. He was there, but he wasn't there.
Mhm.
And it was mainly my mom being the discipline and all that. So I see how it affected me as a little kid because now that I'm a grown man and I have my own kids and I'm watching them all the time,
Yep.
I can see how it helps the kid. Like you have somebody to teach you things that you didn't have anybody.
Yeah.
Like I had myself and I had my friends. Like
Yeah.
I learned most of my stuff because of older friends like Derek,
Yeah.
Chris, Terrence, all of them. Like I learned things because of them. Now that I'm older and I have my own kids, he learning things from me. Like
Yeah.
I'm his hero. So
That's crazy. That's
And
crazy.
are you still, so like, you know, are you still becoming a man in the sense of like, you're learning new things too that are now going to your children too? Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I can share this now. Like I'm picking this up and I'm growing with this still. So this is something I'm going to pass along too. So y'all are both growing in a sense?
yeah,
Is it
we're
sort of
both
like
growing. And I believe my kids made me better than
that? Absolutely.
Right.
I would have been. If I didn't have them, I don't know where I would be right now. I'd be totally lost. They're everything to me.
They're great
Right.
kids. They're great kids, man. And I think Tonio got a chance to really step back and look at it and try to do things a different way.
Yeah.
Like you got a clean slate. And you were like, okay, I know what this feels like. I know what that feels like. So I'm gonna make sure that Max,
Doesn't go without.
he sees
Same
this
things
different.
that I went without, he won't go without.
Right. And I think one of the things, the hardest thing during that time, Jai, was at 11 years old, understanding what is this dynamic, what happened. You're not trying to place blame on necessarily anybody, but at the same time, you're a kid, so you're impressionable.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad's my hero. Now he's going to get another place. And now I'm going to stay with him every other weekend.
Yeah.
And this is weird, right? Because I see my mom upset. I see my dad upset. And I understand that they loved each other, but sometimes it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So what was really weird was during that time, my dad was very hands-on with me as far as sports. And that's another thing. I think Antonio can attest to this. He's one of the best athletes I ever played with right here.
Mm.
Naturally talented. He's like a Boobie Miles. Boobie, you gonna live? Boobie don't need to live. God-given. He had God-given talent. His uncle broke every high school record. Like, they couldn't touch him. And that bloodline is in him. So when, and my parents went to school with his people. So that's how they knew about his uncle breaking all these records and just being a superstar. I think I hid behind sports too, because I was not a superstar in any individual sport, but I could play anything.
That's a fact.
I can score. I don't give a damn if it's badminton, ping pong. I'm nice. You know what I'm saying? I'm just I can pick it up. So no, I wasn't a standout, all state, this, that, but I was decent in everything that I did. And I felt like my dad's hands-on approach to things was because of the way that he learned. I felt like I lost that when they separated, right? Because my way of getting back at him was, I'm not going to play baseball no more. Silly, right? Baseball is one of the best sports to go pro in.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
You know?
Guaranteed money.
Guaranteed money. And my dad had me at one point hitting both hands.
Shoulda.
Frank Thomas crushing balls like I was nice. And in my mind, I'm not going to do this anymore because I'm upset with you. And it only hurt me because he took all that time to train me, to work with me. My dad could have went pro back in the day. He was cold. He had a lot of like minor league teams looking at him and stuff like that, but he knew he had a baby on the way. So like, we got to change gears a little bit.
Yeah.
When that happened, after a while, your parents start to date again. It's really weird to see your dad with, going on a date with a different woman. And now I'm sitting in the back seat and I'm looking like, man.
You know what? You thinking some bad things.
You know what I'm saying? Like, man, come on, man.
Yeah.
And then my mom, she's dating. And I remember
That's moms.
That's moms. And now
moms.
I'm really hot.
Yeah.
Because that's my mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, if anybody knows me and my mom's relationship, bro, like we are, bro, we have a very unorthodox relationship. I was allowed to say certain stories and curse if I said the story to my family. But I couldn't do it outside of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I could get away with it sometimes, and a lot of people be like, oh, that's crazy. No, man, my mom was cold. One time I rolled my eyes at her, Antonio was at the house.
She made me snitch.
And she made him tell on me. So what happened was we were in the kitchen, and my mom was like, Derek, get over to the sink. My mom didn't play. She was like a drill sergeant. Cleanliness in her house, she didn't play about that, right? So she said something, and me and Tony are at the table. We're eating. And I look at Tony, I'm like, I roll my eyes. He bust out laughing. She turns around. What'd he do? I'm looking like, no.
Don't do it.
Please, bro.
I can't do it. I'm in her home.
Yeah, And she said, what did he do? And I think it scared him. Because my mom,
I'm used to it.
Yeah. I got PTSD. Like, my mom was spaz, right? So Tonio goes, he rolled his eyes. God, dog. She hit me. Fuck, you know what I'm saying? Right in front of Tonio. Made me spit my food out and everything. You get up. Tonio's sitting there like, oh, God. She goes out the room. I'm looking at him like, dang, right? You know? He's like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah,
what
do you want me to do?
Bro, I got to. Yeah,
I got to. You know? So, I don't want to get off track, but when my mom started dating there was a guy, and I think he lived in Atlanta. I don't want to put all the business out there, but I remember one time I was doing my math homework, and he called me on the phone. He's like, put Derek on the phone. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, you know who this is? I was like, ain't my dad.
Yeah, that's the first thing. You ain't my dad.
Ain't my dad. The first thing I know, and my dad will whip your ass, boy. Yeah, so he was like, make sure you get that homework done. And
No.
What?
First
Bro, you wilding right now.
I would have put the phone down and started looking around.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
he ain't
I'm a kid, but bro, you are wilding right now. If I tell Tracy that you said some crazy stuff, bro, you're done.
Yeah.
You're done. So I remember him like, yeah, you know, better get used to new sheriff in town. I'm like, bro, how you know who you are? You know what I'm saying?
How the fuck it?
And I think that he tried to like be funny, you know what I'm saying? But I remember this dude wrote a song. He was a musician. He would tour on the Carnival cruise lines, and he was in charge of like the band. So this dude was a genius. Played like 8 different instruments.
Wow.
Like his sister sang, the whole family. And he wrote, produced, and cut a song for my mom. And I remember the lyrics to this day. And my mom was like, you know, this dude wrote a song for me, you know? So I think in her mind, like that was like really different. That's big.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He would perform this song after they broke up in different ports when he would travel and stuff. So in hindsight, the dude wasn't that bad. I just think that I didn't understand. And
You took it sideways just because it was a different man.
Different
like,
man. Like,
you don't know
to
me like that.
Yeah, you ain't gonna talk to me no type of way. But now as a man, I realize that ain't my mom. That's a woman.
Mm-hmm.
That's a woman that's got feelings. That's a woman that's been hurt. That's a woman that wants to be loved and cherished and protected. So when that dynamic goes away, and my mom always told me, she said 2 things she never had to worry about. Not being able to laugh around my dad and not feeling protected. Because hands down, she never felt like nothing was going to happen to her around him. Still probably wouldn't. So fast forward, high school.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about. High school and post grad. Like,
Okay.
I feel like this is what.
Yeah.
Would you say this is what is another, you know, key part of who you are? High school. Like, what is the major thing? Like, who you are?
I think I was still trying to figure out at that time who Derek was. I think this is when I really tried to hide a little bit because, like me and Antonio said, we used to worry about how hard football practice was going to be. That was our biggest fear. That was our only worry. And I cherish those days now because now we're adulting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we're full-time. The decisions we make now, we need to be making decisions now for 10 years from now.
Absolutely.
So 10 years from now, we look back, hey, Tonio, I'm glad you did that. John, I'm glad you put that money back. Derek, I'm glad you did those investments, right? Then I was more concerned. My dad told me, Derek, don't worry about these girls. You worried about these girls. You need to worry about your schoolwork and your athletics. He said, because if you don't have your schoolwork done, you're not going to play. And I thought he meant from him. I didn't understand that he meant academic probation, right? I didn't understand what that was till I got put on it. And it wasn't because, I had to realize this about myself. It wasn't because I wasn't smart enough. I'm very smart. I did not apply myself. It was almost like I was scared to step out of a role and be like, oh, Derek's actually smart.
Yeah, I think a lot of people
You know what I'm
deal
saying?
with that.
Because I don't know if it's our culture.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
You know, I don't know, and we can speak about that as black men at the table. I don't know if it's our culture, but now smart is cool.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Everything dealing, this is cool. This is us tapping into our geek side, right?
And I don't mind being a geek. Like,
I don't mind
I'm
it
a
either.
homebody. I'm a loner. I don't even know how I got friends. I don't even know how I have friends because of sports.
You know what
But
he does? You know what he does when we ask him to go somewhere? Who's all going to be there?
Bro, Don, you ain't the only one.
Yeah,
you know
I
what
need
I'm
to
saying?
know.
Because
he
I
was
just
the
want
only
to
one.
ask the question.
Right.
I just want
So
to know.
most of the time I lie just to try to get him out of the house because I know, like, if I say certain people, he'll be like, all right, I'm riding. You know, I'll be down. I really think that in our culture, back in the day, there were a few kids that understood the assignment that were black kids. Terrell, Terrence, Jason, Marlon, all great guys, all athletes, but all of them towed the line when it come to academics. because it wasn't that my household didn't demand that of me.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the fact that I knew I could do enough to get by. These kids that were in high school, some of the ones I just mentioned, they had a mindset that I did not have yet. And I had to realize that. These kids were preparing for the next level. My grandmother used to tell me, Derek, you need to do community service. You need to get involved in these groups. You need to be involved with after-school programs. To me, going to school, sports was enough. I didn't understand that you're building your resume in high school, right?
Yeah, we was happy with bare minimum.
We were happy with bare minimum.
I think that's kind of unfair.
Right.
Because at such a young age, you really not worried about what you going to do after high school. You trying to live for now.
Right.
So being 15, 16, 17 in high school, it's like, nah, man, I'm getting off of practice. I'm going to go hang out with my friends. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what we did. We used to ride our bikes everywhere.
So you really don't want to do none of that.
Right.
But then, like you said, certain people are gifted. And at the time you're like, oh, they're lames. You know, they're not going to the parties. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're not hanging out here.
No, they had it figured out.
They had it figured out.
They was more mature.
Yeah, they had it more mature. So you're looking at them like, oh, okay, like you're just gonna study all night. Like I'm gonna go out with my friends all night.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And my dad gave me freedom. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure y'all have freedom too.
I had freedom.
That was the issue too. I had too much freedom.
Yeah, same here. So it's like now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, they really just set themselves up real good, man. I wish I could take it back. So I'm in the same boat as you when it comes to that, bro. You're not alone when it comes to that.
And you played sports. You were a great athlete. That's me being honest. Me looking around at those guys, I understood that they had an idea of what the next step was. I was living on this false hope that I was randomly going to get this scholarship and go play somewhere. My mom had to sit me down. And she said, Derek, I'm going to be real with you. You're good, but you're not going to play on the next level. After high school, that's it. You know how bad that hurt? But she was real.
Yeah.
She didn't want me chasing that dream. My mom didn't have the money to help me go to college and stuff like that at the time. I didn't even have a car all through high school. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it wasn't because I had jobs. It wasn't, but that job was my spending money. That was helping out around the house. That was, doing things. I took on a lot of responsibility as a young man. And I'm not saying my mom forced it on me. I'm just saying the way that I looked at my mom and my sister, I'm like, this is my role. Mm-hmm. I wear a lot of different hats to different people, right? So in high school, I feel like I don't really know what my thinking was. I'm like, okay, this report card was good. Okay, we're good to the next one. Not really thinking, hey, I need to be setting myself up because I got to start turning in applications to college. I got to start applying. So once I graduated, I kind of had a plan. My grandfather, rest in peace, he served 23 years in the Army. Most of my family is military or police.
Thank y'all for y'all service.
Thank y'all. Thank everyone. Thank you. I watched him develop into a great soldier, shining his boots, ironing his uniform, doing his push-ups, eating his cream of wheat every morning. He would tell me, get up and do your push-ups every morning. And now when I was little, I'd do it with him. And I thought he was just the coolest man in the world, So there was still that desire in me a little bit. So then I made the decision. I was like, okay, Derek, you're going to need to do something with your life. I went to work at Tetra right after high school, right here in Blacksburg. I'm going to tell you right now, that's one of the worst jobs I've ever had in my life. I cried almost every day. The people there were ruthless. I worked on an assembly line, and these old ladies used to sit in these chairs, bro, and they would put the filters in these fish tanks and just send them down the line, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm at the end trying to collect them all, box them, put them on a pallet. They didn't care how bad the line got backed up. They didn't care at all. They just kept pushing them. These boxes are falling off the conveyor belt. My boss, Tim, would come and help me get caught up. I'm looking at these women like, I really wanted to say something, but I couldn't. And they're smiling. Keep sending them. Wherever y'all are at, I hope y'all seeing this. Y'all thought I wasn't going to be nothing. Didn't you? Yeah, you did. You did. That's okay. I stuck it out. What changed? At that time, we had lunch one day. There was a girl in there that was talking, and I realized that for some of these people, this is it. This is a 30, 40 year hard grind.
They're going to retire from
there. That scared me to death. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I've been there.
Yeah, it scared me to death. I'm looking around the room. Everybody's got black.
They don't want to be there.
They don't want to be there. They're miserable. Their body aches. They're tired. And they know they're grinding this out 6 days a week. I go home. I'm exhausted. I said, nah, Derek, you can't, bro. Like, I know I'm destined for more. So I went to the recruiter. Didn't even tell my mom. I was like, dude, I will sign up. I'll leave as soon as I can. Me and Antonio, we were talking about it. We were going to go on the delayed entry program together.
Try to convince me.
Yeah, try to convince him to go in the Army because I'm like, you know what, bro, we can do this together. Us together, bro, we can do this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So fast forward, I passed the ASVAB, still working at Tetra, just waiting to get my my time for me to leave, right? For me to go to basic training. And I remember I went to a high school football game in Christiansburg. There was an individual there, I will not say his name, but he lit a fire in me like I could never explain to you. He came up to me and said, what are you doing, man? I said, no, man, just, watching. I think Lamar and them were playing. Somebody was playing. He said, what you doing now? I said, oh, I'm just working here in Blacksburg, but get ready to go into the military. Just waiting. Oh, man, you ain't going to the military. You going to be right here, man. You might as well go learn to drive a truck or something, man. You going to be a local, bro. And I'm looking at this grown man.
Yeah.
You're a grown man, and you're telling this to a kid.
Nah.
That's what they want you.
That's what you wanted me to do.
Yeah.
Because your path didn't take you to where you thought it should go. So now you want to see other people do the same thing. I encourage people to get out of here. Go see the world. Come back. So when he told me that, I was like, nah, bro. I don't care what I got to do. I'm leaving, right? So the day that I'm leaving, the night before, Tonio tells me, bro, I can't go.
Heck no, I couldn't go.
Right? Now.
I couldn't.
It broke my heart because I was like, dang, what am I going to do?
What did that feel like, though? Because
you knew I wasn't built for that. You knew I wasn't.
You're right. Real talk, I knew that Tonio is too much of a headstrong individual. He's too motivated to allow somebody. Tonio, it's not a fear of losing control, but Tonio wants to be in charge of his own self, day to day, make his own decisions.
For sure.
And he does not want anybody to even feel that they can impede on that.
Yeah.
So I did know that. Me, I felt like I needed that discipline, that direction. I was yearning for it. Because you got to remember, my dad's always been in my life. But my dad will tell you, Derek's a self-made man. Because I had to go out and get it. When people say you get it out the mud, I didn't come from a impoverished state. But when I say I had to get it out the mud, I had to do it myself. Literally. Like, nobody's coming. Like, when people say that, like, I don't think people really realize that, like, if you want to get to a certain point, it's going to take you to get uncomfortable. It's going to take some trials. You know what I'm saying? Sorry. So my family, everybody, they were really supportive of my decision to join the military. My dad took me to the recruiter and he asked him, he said, will my son go to combat? Recruiter lied. Looked straight at my dad. He's like, nah, he'll be fine. He'll be stateside. Now, mind you, this is 2004, 2005. 9/11 had just happened a few years prior. We had the biggest surge of people joining the military right after that because our nation is very patriotic and we wanted to go to war. We wanted to defend our country. 6 months. Hang on, let me not jump to that yet. So my family felt okay about me joining. The day that I left, it was sad. My sister came up crying. I said, listen, I'll be back. I said, I promise you, I'll be back. I had no idea what I was about to get into, right? No idea. All I knew was I didn't care what they made me do. I wasn't coming home without a uniform, right?
True.
I was not coming back to Christiansburg and allowing one person to ask me why I didn't make it. Wasn't going to happen. I don't care what they had. I said, I don't care if they make us eat dog shit. I'm going to eat it. Like, I was that determined, you know? And I think, like, if we're honest with ourselves as men, we harbor a lot of insecurities that we may not be as vocal about.
Mm-hmm.
What I harbored was I didn't always feel, like I said, that I protected myself in the right way, that I spoke up for myself in the right way, that I looked at my dad and I could associate that masculine energy that I felt from him. My dad raised me when I was young very stern because that's all he knew.
Mm-hmm.
My dad didn't really know at that time how to console, how to really love. Like you kiss Max on the forehead. Max knows he's the man because you tell him. And Max doesn't have to do anything to accept that, to get that from you. You just automatically show him that.
Yeah.
My dad would do the same thing. It was just a little bit more stern. So at the time, I was fighting uphill and pushing because I just wanted him to see me.
Right.
But when you're looking at a man, you're like, man, I ain't got a big beard like him. You know, I got a baby face, which will help me out when I get older, right? But these are things you struggle with. So it took, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to jump right back into it. It took me to 35 years old to my dad to sit me down and say, look, I could not have done what you did to become the man you are.
That's real.
Bro, when he told me that, I kid y'all not. Sorry, I'm sick. When he told me that, I looked at him and everything kind of made sense then. This whole time, I've been searching for something in you that I already had. You know what I'm saying? Like, this whole time, I've been looking to be like, yo, I want to be like that. But my dad's telling me, you got more.
Like you.
You know what I'm saying? You got more. You got more courage. You got more heart. You got more drive. And I think that young men have to get to a point where we accept that in ourselves.
Was that a difficult decision for you? Like to see a man that's everything that you admire to be, and it's like, but wait, I can be my own self. So when I say difficult, is it just like challenging for you to be like, all right, I'm just going to be myself now and be who I'm destined to be, and just kind of follow in my followers. I wouldn't say shadow, but you see what I'm saying when I say that. Like,
yeah, I think that I recognize more and more as I get older that I got his blood in me 100%.
Sure.
The more and more I get older, like the more and more I look at him and I'm like, dang, we're a lot more alike than what I thought, you know? And I think that to answer your question, I don't think I really started to be okay and to really let people know this is me probably in the last 2 or 3 years, to be honest. I think I lived a lot of my life for other people. I think I did a lot of things so that people would feel proud, to feel like I accomplished things, to feel like I checked the block on something. There was a lot of things I did and I felt like I needed to for myself. Everything I'm doing now is for Derek. You know, whether people agree with it, whether they think I should or should not say certain things, I don't care. Because guess what? We're going to look up one day and we're going to have a long list of stuff, and I want check marks beside my stuff, whether people agree with it or not. I can't live for somebody else because they've done lived their life, you know? So I think the hardest thing to do as men is to decide what's masculine to you, right? What's a provider to you? What's a protector to you? What, it's completely okay. There's guys out here. Let me break this down. I come from an era where if you didn't like to play football and get hit, you a punk. You know how many dudes in the NFL don't like to get hit?
Yeah.
Ask them. That's why they run the way they do. But I come from an era where everything had to be grindstone hard. And if you wasn't that, you ain't a man.
Wasn't a man.
And that is a toxic mentality,
Toxic masculinity, would you say?
Yeah,
that?
because that gets you further and further away from telling somebody, hey, I'm not okay. You know what I'm saying? Hey, sorry. Hey, I need help. I don't want to play this. I don't want to do that. It is perfectly okay to be a man and not to like contact sports. It is perfectly okay to be a man and not like to fist fight. It's perfectly okay to be a man and not have to wake up every morning and prove I know who the fuck I am. You couldn't do this. That's why I'm here. So I think we have to realize it is okay for you as a man to be you. There is nobody else that can tell you this is the type of man that you need to be because this is what society and this is what I consider to be a man. What are you judging me off of? Because I guarantee your vision is skewed.
That's a great question.
Right?
Great question.
What man are people judging us on? What example of a man are we being judged by? Most of the time, it's somebody directly related to us. But maybe they weren't good communicators. Maybe they weren't in touch with their emotions. I am. That's one thing I had to realize. That's who I am. I get a little bit from my dad. I get a little bit from my mom. So I feel like a man cannot sit there and lead his family and do certain things without being a good communicator. Why would you sit there and bottle all this stuff up because society tells us, oh, he light skinned, he like to talk, he a punk.
Social media.
Social media tell you that.
But I got to ask you a question.
Yeah.
So being in the military like you was,
yeah,
and being in some of the situations that you're in, that I don't know if you can imagine it, and I can't neither. How do you hold yourself? How do you control your emotions at that point?
Sorry.
Because everybody around you is, oh, we're in the military. You got to be stern, and that's a bullet. Don't worry about it. It ain't gonna kill you. Like, so like, what are you thinking? Like, bro, like I'm in something right now. Like, I'm scared. Did you show you were scared in the military?
Rarely.
So how do you control that, bro?
When I was younger and I first got in the military, when I was 19, I went through this weird transition, right? Got back home, body's different. I'm yoked up, walking around with a six-pack. I ain't never had a six-pack before. I've been chubby all, you know what I'm saying? So now I'm getting, when you walk around a certain way, men know. Men know when an alpha's in the room, right? Mm-hmm. Women know. So now women approach you differently. You have a different confidence level now. And that the reason why the Army and the military recruit young men is because old men are smart enough to know that shit is fucked up. Right? You can't get older men to do some of the stuff that a young man will do. So when I was young, I was up on the 50 cal, up on top of the Humvee.
Crazy.
In Iraq, in Baghdad, 19, 20 years old. And I thought that I could not be touched. I had a bad mentality. I used to fight all the time, and I thought it was cool. But really, I was damaging myself. People knew they could wind my battery up and watch him go. Hey, go say something to Derek. First thing I'm going to say is, what's up? Until I had a good friend of mine, Sergeant First Class Lowe. If you're out there, man, I hope you see this. He yoked me up one day by my neck in the middle of Afghanistan, my second tour. He said, what is wrong with you? He said, you going to fight the world? He said, don't you know that these people know exactly how to play you? He said, a man will take a black eye any day to get you fired. Because his eye will heal in a week, but you won't. So that perspective for me let me know that people can push you if they know that they can to get a response out of you, and they wind up winning. They don't care about they took a little L. They got you off your square. So I had to rethink my whole mentality, the way I handled stuff, the way I approach stuff. Once I did that, I think I took too much of a backseat. One thing that got me through the military, those rough days, the deployments, and we'll get into all that. We might have to have a part two.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. It's the next subject.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
One thing that got me through the military, Antonio knows this, he was there every step of the way. was my personality. We're in the middle of Iraq, Afghanistan, getting shot at, and I'm still talking about, hey, this girl and this and that, and this is fat. And that's me. It helped me because if not, I'd have lost my mind, bro. Like, I don't think people realize, like, the space mentally you have to go to when you're deployed. I had to become a different person. You know what I'm saying? Like, I kept so much stuff from my friends, from my family, stuff that I'm seeing. I purposely would send videos home of me and my buddies cutting up. That way my mom and them think that's all we did was make videos. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like, literally,
Can you tell us some of them Armory stories?
Yeah, like, literally right now, my aunt thinks that my first tour was in December of 2005. I went to Iraq. I'd only been in my unit for 3 or 4 months before I deployed. So just to outline it for y'all.
That when we took you to Charlotte?
Yeah. So when I went into the Army, I did basic training at Fort Knox, Kentucky, School of Hard Knocks, right? They don't even have that basic training open anymore. It's not one that you can go to. Why, I don't know, because I think all men should have to go through that. 3 of the biggest hills you've ever seen in your life are on that base.
Yourself.
Hey, and we had to road march them all. Like, hey, misery, heartbreak, and agony. And Weston's pulled them up before. And I'm telling you, I've walked every single one of them. So after basic, I went to Fort Leonard Wood in Missouri, Fort Lost in the Woods. And that was AIT where I learned my job, right? AIT was difficult because I felt like, you know, hey, we made it and we still got drill sergeants. But now they've integrated. I went to a basic training where there was no women, all males, right? So you can imagine the way the drill sergeants talk to us. You can imagine some of the stuff they say, right? And you know me, I love to laugh.
Lord have mercy.
So, you know, when they would say crazy stuff, bro, I was crying. And they was like, Private Nowlin, push, bro. Push. This ain't comedy hour. So, bro, I got big. They realized, like, hey, don't make him do push-ups no more. What's he hate to do? He hates to work his legs. Right? I got little old legs, bro. So you know what they did? They wised up. They said, bro, don't make him do push-ups. Make him do air squats. Oh, hating life. Right? I squatted so much one day, I couldn't even get on the toilet at the end of the day. Oh, God. It was bad, right? But I needed that. I miss that grind to this day, right? That what we used to do. After AIT in Missouri, I came home and did hometown recruiting here in Christiansburg for like 2 weeks. That was cool. I got to come home, see friends, help recruit new guys into the military, and then I got my orders to go to Fort Hood in Texas. Texas is a different world, bro. I encourage everybody to go to Texas. If you've never been, go to Dallas, go to Houston. Bro, H-Town is going down. I'm telling you, okay? I'm a legend out there.
They retired his jersey out there.
I'm a legend out there. You know what I'm saying?
They retired that man's jersey out there.
You know what I'm saying? They know about me. No, but time of my life, right? I was with some dudes that just didn't care, bro. You get put with guys from all different corners of the world. I was with 2 dudes that's like your size, my best friends. We rolled 3 deep everywhere. I didn't worry about nothing because it was just like that. And I was usually the first one to get it started. Because I knew they was right there, you know? And they tell me, go snuff him. I was wild. We'd be in the middle of the club. They'd be like, man, go snuff him.
You know, if those people listening, it's just like, we know where he's at.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I got it on me. Nah, I apologize. Anybody just forgive me for that time, you know? But I'd sneak around the club, get it going, right? And I didn't realize at the time how dangerous that was.
Really, though?
Really. We understand now, you know, how dangerous that was. But like I said, I used to fight all the time. That's why sometimes when people talk to me, and I hope everybody's listening, some of you jokers, when y'all talk to me crazy, I just want y'all to know what y'all are dealing with. They will have to call SWAT if I lose it. I'm just telling you. They have to call SWAT. And some people talk to me because I allow you to do that. Don't think that that's just how you can move. I allow you to do that. There's people that have disrespected me so bad that I couldn't do nothing but just sit there because I know I can't allow myself to go to that level. I can't allow myself to get that far off my square.
That's scary.
Bro, I'm not saying
for those people.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say that I'm some ninja, no. I know me. And I allow people sometimes to push the limit so far. I've heard so many things and people just talk so crazy. But I think that comes with maturity. I don't have to react to everything. I don't have to address everything in a certain type of way. But shortly after we got to that unit, we deployed. Everybody knows I did 3 tours. So the first tour was in Iraq for a year. Came back home for a while. Second tour was in Afghanistan for 15 months. So that tour was 15 months. We knew that was 15 months before we even left. So that's a long time. Think about that. You know what I'm saying? Somebody tells you, Tonio, you're going to Africa for the next year of your life, and you're going to live there.
Motherland,
right?
Hey.
Yeah. I
got a few things.
Yeah, I got to go. You know what I'm saying? So you have to get it in your mind, this is my new home for a year, right? Despite if you want to go home, there is no homesick. Oh, when you have bad days overseas in combat, you're going to lay right beside your best buddy and what y'all just experienced that night. Whether y'all had a good day, bad day, indifferent. You're going to go through day to day with the man to the left and right of you. He's got a family and 3 kids and his kid's sick. This guy's grandmother's sick. I got my stuff going on, but we got to put all that back because we got a mission to do. And our heads got to be on straight. And to be honest, the grace of God kept me and gave me my personality, because without my personality, there's no way I would have made it. I feel like I helped other guys make it through a little bit easier because I'd help them laugh.
Just power and laughter.
Yeah, power and laughter.
That's
you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of pain. There's a lot of pain that we hide behind laughter, right? And it helps us get through. I wanted to do 20 years in the military and retire at like 38. That was my goal. I was approaching 10 years before I decided to get out. If I would have re-enlisted one more time, that would have put me indefinite. To just, you got 10 more, might as well do it. But I was so scared and so tired of deploying, I knew I did not want to do it anymore. Like I could feel it.
Was it taking the toll of your mental health?
It was. My mental health. I was so scared. Let me Weston, we good on time? Okay. I was so scared to take my 3rd tour. I didn't think I was going to make it home, right? So I didn't even want to go on the 3rd tour to Afghanistan for a year because I was so scared that might be the one. My biggest fear was I didn't want my family, and this sounds selfish, and I thank all the men and women who gave the ultimate sacrifice. They are the bravest. I was scared that I was going to have to come home in a certain way, and my family would have to see that. They would never know what really happened. Was I scared? Was I in pain? They're left with all those questions. So I said, Lord, if you get me home after this 3rd tour, I'll get out. I got a handwritten letter from my grandfather, rest in peace, who knew. He said, Derek, I understand what you're going through. I've been in combat. Come home. That's what he said. Come home. Leave that alone. So I know if he told me that, it was time to go.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So at that time, like from what he's telling us, it's like, what was you thinking? Like when you had people writing these letters to you, is it almost like, are you battling, like you wanting to stay or wanting to leave? Is it like, are you on the borderline? Because it's like, it seems like you were committed. Like I've never had something that I was fully committed towards, you know what I'm saying, like that, besides like personal things, you know what I'm saying, within my family. But when it's something like that and you're like, nah, I want to do this because you're a badass. I'm going to say it for you. Am I wrong for saying that? It's like, but so when you get to that level and it's like, I want to keep doing this, but you have your family saying, what is it? What are you thinking in your head right now? Are you battling like what you want to do? Like what's going on?
I was battling feeling selfish for getting out, leaving my battle buddies. I was battling the fear of starting something new because my whole identity was wrapped up in being a soldier now. I didn't really even get the time to figure out who Derek was because I went from being a kind of nervous and scared adolescent to going into the military and being fearless and taking on this world and this new persona to at the latter part of my career, I was scared of everything because I seen what combat does to people. I've seen some things that I think about all the time that are just like, it'll blow your mind. And when you realize that this thing ain't something to play with, you're no different from anybody else that's over there. So really, in the back of your mind, you're waiting for something to happen to you. You're waiting for,
Something else to give you a reason in a sense?
Well, imagine every day if we were driving down through Blacksburg and Blacksburg Main Street was riddled with IEDs, improvised explosive devices, bombs. And you're chancing your drive from here to Sharky's every day on not hitting one of those IEDs. I can't tell you what that feels like to ride down a road day in and day out waiting to get blown up. I can't tell you what that feels like. That fear is a different level. And I was tired of feeling like that. I was tired of the what ifs. How's this going to happen? If I do go, I don't want to feel it, Now I fear death more than anything because I feel like when I got hurt overseas, that should have been it. And why things happened a certain way that they did. I thought in my head the other day, how many steps did we take over there on foot that we went left instead of this way? I followed this guy instead of following that guy. Like all these things. And in therapy, I've been in therapy for years. They call that survivor's remorse, right? And the one thing a therapist will do is to challenge you to say, you cannot say, I'm not supposed to be here because you are, right?
Yeah.
So the fear that I had when people were wanting me to get out, when they were telling me to get out was, what am I going to do now? Who am I going to be? And I'm telling you right now, the Army prepares you to transition. They do not prepare you for the identity crisis that you feel when you try to integrate back into the civilian world. Because I'm not Sergeant Nowlin anymore. The civilian world don't care that I was a sergeant. You imagine I went to Kroger and I'm like, oh, y'all back up, I'm a sergeant. They're like, get the fuck out of here. They beat you out the store. You know what I'm saying? They don't care. The military, we have this camaraderie, this rank structure, this pride. And when you come out of that, you're searching for that in other places. And I think that I am so proud of me for doing that I can be okay with not associating with that now.
Should be.
I think
Absolutely.
I'll forever be a soldier, but I feel like people were like, man, you ain't changed. You still silly. You still that. I said, no, I'm glad that I haven't. Can you imagine if I'd have came back and I don't want to talk to nobody? Be the same, you know what I'm saying? Staying inside, and I'm not making fun of that. I'm just saying if I would have really, really changed, I wouldn't have wanted that. I'm going to be 80 years old talking about big butts and titties. I just know that. That's just me, right? And I don't blame other people how they live. Let me live,
Yeah,
I'm a man, dog. My granddad, when he was sick, he was in the hospital bed. You know what he told my granny? Don't lay with me.
Hey, man.
Smooth flare,
Rest in peace to that.
Yeah,
man.
I knew then, like it's in us, man. As men, till we're gone, bruh. It's in us.
Sure.
So if I didn't have the personality that I have, I don't know who I'd be right now. And I'm gonna tell you right now, and I know we're getting close. I want to talk to people because I want them to know the day-to-day struggle of just being a man. Just being a person, anybody, a kid. We struggle through so many peaks and valleys, you don't even realize it, right? You're trying to live your life to give yourself grace to be who you are instead of just allowing that, instead of just being happy with everything you've accomplished, being happy that the position that you're in this year is so different than last year. I almost stopped doing this so many times because of something that I heard, right? Oh, you shouldn't talk about this. Oh, y'all shouldn't do that. Oh, you shouldn't do this. Those people are scared. Their fear binds them and keeps them from pushing. Anybody successful in this world, and I'm not talking about money, but I'm talking about reaching a certain platform, the only way they did that was through failure.
How else would you learn?
Ask Warren Buffett how much money he's lost. Right? Ask Michael Jordan how many shots he missed. And these are elite, people.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, I used to be very, very conscious of what people thought about me. And I used to try to live my life to please. But I don't do that anymore. Because I'm not saying that I don't care. I'm just saying that I realize that, like, you got to be woken up to realize who you are. Like, people depend on you to be the man you are. And if he's not that, there's a lot of things that won't be in order. Same for you, same for Weston. So I think that at the end of the day, we got to be proud of that. And you got to kind of nurture that. And however you need to do it, positive reinforcement, affirmations, telling your stuff every morning when you get up and you get in the mirror, whether you feel it or not, telling yourself, I'm smart, I'm capable, I'm going to do this. And you have to, because it's too many other outside factors that beat down on us that'll make you feel that you're not supposed to be in the position that you're in. You know? Dang, I done got off topic, but.
Now we about to go in the third subject.
Right. How much? Where we at, Weston? Over an hour? We got 10 more minutes? Okay.
Yeah, before we start this third session, I want to give y'all the tip of the day.
Tip of the day. What is it?
Versace Blue.
Versace Blue, okay.
Well, Versace Dylan Blue. This is for the ladies and the men. Hey, ladies, if the man ain't hitting the bottom with some cologne on, I don't know what you're doing.
Oh,
you got to smell good if you're hitting the bottom.
Hey, listen. I don't know about all that. Yeah,
Yes,
let me see that right quick.
Don't get a spray. Don't spray.
Yeah, let me get a little spray for later.
Versace, holla at me.
Yeah, we're going to get us a deal.
We got Versace Heroes. We got Versace Dream.
That's mighty right
Dream.
there. I call that mighty. That is mighty.
Dylan Blue.
Look, he got his finger ready. He's ready to go on it.
Yeah, good. Hey, that does smell good, man.
Yeah,
that
tip of the day.
does smell good, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, this man is a cologne connoisseur.
Versace,
You know what I'm saying? He's got everything. F.O. Sachi. So if you want to know about, different colognes.
What did I put you on? Christian Dior, Ferragamo.
Yeah, and
Fahrenheit.
And what's that girl's name?
Oh, Caroline
Herrero.
So where do y'all see, like, I'll be watching GQ a lot.
I got specials.
But man, I be seeing them have colognes and I'm like,
I got specials.
Where do they get this higher end stuff at? I'm not talking about stuff you can get at Belt.
No,
you can get stuff like that at
Yeah,
Belt.
like
You can
stuff
get
like
it
that.
at Belt,
Herrera,
Macy.
Yeah.
But I got a website that I go to, but I will
Like, I
not
seen
put it on
somebody-
here.
He ain't gonna put it on here, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after we get out of
He
here.
put me
I'll
on.
take that.
Yeah, you got to give your firstborn and your thumbprints and all this crazy stuff.
Lord.
To get on there.
Yeah.
Nah, but it's pretty. It is a good website.
Yeah, that's
Tonio
fine.
definitely keeps me up on the fragrances and stuff like that. He knows them all. You know what I'm saying? He like, I just got that.
A mighty code.
Yeah, I
Got
got
summertime, wintertime,
Listen,
fall.
Gucci.
that. Gucci
one?
guilty?
No, Gucci made to measure.
I gotta try
Okay.
that. I ain't.
Gucci made to measure.
Yeah.
It's hard to find. It's
Right.
hard to find. I'm gonna put y'all on.
All right.
You know about that Jean Paul Gaultier, the man in the can?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Jimmy Choo's
Jimmy
up
Choo's
there.
tough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jimmy Choo's tough.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Sure.
I dared myself to try to step back one day, and I bought a bottle of cool water because I remember back in the day, you know what I'm saying? We had the cool water, and I sprayed that on my neck, and I coughed and sneezed.
What
and
about the curve?
I had to get out of my truck. I was hurting. I said, they need to take this off the damn shelf. Why did we wear that back in the day?
I don't know. I mean, y'all was probably wearing Curve.
we was
I
wearing.
knew a few people that were women liked it, but I wasn't.
I was still in my dad's big green can of Polo with the gold top, where you had to put it on your.
Yeah.
You remember that Polo bottle, the green with the man?
What about Jupe though?
I had Jupe now.
What you know about that Jupe? Y'all know about that Jupe?
Nah, I
Yeah, that Jupe is crazy.
That Jupe came in clutch many a night.
That Jupe is crazy.
Now you put that little Jupe on your neck.
Crazy work.
And you can have 6 and make it feel like 9.
You're a whole different man.
Yeah, listen, if you don't know how to do that, hit me up later. I'll tell you how, okay? It's a little bit different over
All
here.
right, we get on subject. The next one is how did steak and sauce originate and the future of it?
Okay.
Like, I want to know about the future goals.
Steak and sauce originated, me, you, and Jordan.
Basement boys.
We had an idea. Weston talked about this on episode 10. I had no idea what I was doing. I just had ideas. I had a vision. I set my iPhone up on a couple phone books. The camera was way far away.
I still remember it like it was yesterday.
But that was some of the best times we had, some of the best
crazy.
laughs. I started running podcasts in my basement. We called it Basement Boys. And one of the episodes that's iconic to this day was I said, here she is thinking that you're better than me because we were born different, right? I said, here he is. He got $3 to his name, but because he got 12 on him, he better than me. Antonio falls out of the chair in the middle of the set,
I couldn't help it.
Hilarious, right? One of the funniest episodes we've done. And so many people ask me about that to this day. That kind of pushed me to want to create something. Right before I moved to Dublin, I was in Charlotte. I had bought my first house in Charlotte years back, probably 2015. I was working for Wells Fargo at the time, and I was going to college. Shout out to Queen's Flip. I say this all the time until I meet this man. When I saw this man, his laugh was so infectious, and I saw his studio. All his friends were there at a podcast. It seemed to me they had the best time in the world. Every episode. I said, I want to be a part of that. I want to be on the show. I called in live to the show so many nights and talked to everybody that was there. The dude named Shampoo that's on there, he used to wear this nonstop flight to Angola shirt. Nobody knew why. The sponsorship told him, we figured out why you wear that and you need to stop or we're going to pull our sponsorship. It was because the legal age in Angola was something crazy.
Sure.
So he was wearing these shirts and Queen's Flip found out and was like, Shammy, no. Well, one day he wore a button-up shirt and they couldn't tell that he had the shirt on up under it. So everybody made him mad. Well, he ripped the buttons off on his shirt and had a big plane that said nonstop to Angola. They put him in a headlock and drug him off. When I saw that, I said, that's it.
Yeah.
We can do this. We can create our own show. So I reached out to Antonio, my brother. We were doing certain things. I was on Scott's podcast a lot. That's how I met Weston. And Weston saw something in me back then. Originally, the show was supposed to be called Honest Hour, right?
Yeah, but you couldn't be honest.
Definitely, right? And I was going to have people be honest for that hour that I interviewed them. And I could ask them whatever, right? Well, when me and Weston started to put some of our ideas together, Honest Hour is already a domain name on YouTube by a group of people that have a podcast. They have 3 million subscribers. That's a monster you don't want to go up against, right? Because when you type in your name on YouTube, you want to be the only one, right? You type in Steak and Sauce Podcast, we're it. Ain't nothing else. So I had to figure that out. So Weston's like, we need to come up with a different name. So I went home and I started thinking like, okay, what can it be? This name came up for 2 reasons. One, this show gives you something hearty, heartfelt, and zesty at the same time, right?
Like
but it's filling. Steak and the sauce. The steak is the stuff that we talk about that we take with us, right?
Mm-hmm.
The heartfelt stories, the lessons, the laughs, the cries. The sauce is the spicy stuff that we talk about. Like all that stuff. Also, when I was a kid, my parents would ask me, they say, what do you want to eat? Most kids would say chips, something, a sandwich. I would say, can I have a little steak? And my dad said, you ain't getting no damn steak. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't nobody got no money to give you steak all the time, you know? So I walked around as a kid, and every time they asked me what I wanted to eat, I said, can I have a little steak? So
that's funny.
Steak and Sauce podcast.
That's tough, man.
So
y'all are growing wild, man.
Yeah, Steak and Sauce has two meanings, but really what it is I wanted to brand something original. I wanted it to come from something that was from our heart. And also, we are providing exactly what the name says. A lot of people are like, oh, well, it's not that much we'll deal with food. That's not what that means. And I'm glad you asked me that so I could tell people. We do food reviews. We love food, but it's not based upon that solely, you know? And I know I jumped around a lot. I want to go ahead and do a part 2 of this.
Absolutely.
I want to go back and tell you guys a little bit of what we'll pick back up on is to dive more into my military career, how that ended, and then the tough time that I had getting out and realizing that I had PTSD, anxiety, depression, and how that has shaped my life and what I've had to do up until this point. And I want to be very transparent about that. And me and you, Jai, talked about, stuff dealing with, mental health and relationships and all these other things, that we want to get into. And for you guys to share some of y'all's stuff too. So I definitely think that we'll part 2 this, Weston, because I think that would just be awesome if we could just part 1 it, part 2 and have it, and come back. And just really be able to really pour out kind of like my story, because what I did is I made sure that before I came on here today, I said, let me just not give a surface level answer, but I want to really look inside myself and say, hey, who are you? Why did you do these things? How has that helped mold you to the man you are today? So yeah, definitely do that. I really, really thank you guys for being on here today.
Glad y'all had me on here.
Yeah,
man. Thank you so much, man.
I wish we had more time. The time goes by so fast.
I didn't even realize it.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's so much stuff we got to get into. Me and Weston just talked about this on the last episode. Big shout out to Weston, man. He's a great guy. Check out episode 10. It's live now on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. You can follow him at carmack.media on Instagram. He does some amazing photo shoots. He's available if you guys need help with shoots, video, stuff like that. Shout out to Scott Bunn at Remax 8. Continue to support his channel at Finding Your Place with Scott Bunn on YouTube. This is episode 11. Hey, thank y'all for being a part of this. This is going to continue to grow.
Yes, it will.
Y'all continue to motivate me to just continue to try to be creative. We thank God for giving us this ability, this platform, this time. And out of anything else, if we only meet here every week, we're creating something that's going to be here for a lifetime.
Absolutely.
What we've already did is stamped, so I'm thankful for that. And everybody, please continue to support us. Hit that subscribe button. Let us know if you want to come on the show. You can reach out to any of our social medias, myself or Antonio. You can find us and let us know you want to come on the show. If you got guests or topics you guys would like for us to discuss, let us know that too. We got an incredible Halloween episode.
Coming up soon.
It's going to be, yeah, buddy. It's going to be a good one. You definitely want to stay tuned for that. This has been Steak and Sauce. We appreciate you. We love you guys. And until the next time, be blessed.
Got you.
the whole thing with loofahs is, just like my dad said, that thing is a ball of bacteria. The loofah don't ever go in the washing machine.
It doesn't.
It
but
doesn't.
It's getting drained, and
You know,
all
where
of
do
a
you
sudden,
put
it's
your
just like a
washcloth
towel.
after
It's just
that?
like a towel.
I use 2 washcloths a day. Face before I get in.
Okay.
Body.
And you hang that
And
towel.
you hang
right
it back
for
up.
one You hang it. Yeah, you hang it
I
back
got
up.
1,000 washcloths, right? I'm constantly
Loofahs
washing.
come in packs. So you thinking your issue is you thinking somebody's grabbing one loofah and just using it until it's
I'm telling you
falling
this
So
right
it's time to go.
now.
You know when it's time to go. The same way, I don't know how long you keep your washcloth.
Hey,
I
I'm
don't know how
telling you this
long
right
y'all
now.
keep your
I'm
washcloth.
telling you this right now. I've been in several women's houses, and that loofah's been in there as long as they've had their high school diploma.
But you can tell that loofah's bad.
Yeah.
You walk in there, you
know
smell
what?
something,
If you-
ain't
no,
nobody shit
You
yet.
take that loofah and you this, and it bounces.
it doesn't.
That bitch.
Them loofah, if it bounces,